Wonderful young ladies in this school this year. I told them during tryouts that we were only going to have 8 girls on the varsity roster, and that's almost half of what we had last year. And that meant that they were going to have to work hard to earn a spot and twice as hard to keep it. I'm so proud of all of them throughout the entire season. I believe that we really could taste the tournament this year, although it didn't end up happening. More so than any volleyball coach, more so than any team I've coached while I've been here. We had 3 games left and needed to win 2 at the end of the season, and the determination I saw in all of my players made me really proud to be their coach. It was tough coming to the realization that 2 of the last 3 teams were Medway and Medfield, who often were the 2 left standing at states, but no one was ready to give up. They truly battled through every point, really showing all the other schools that Norton was no longer the team that was easily beaten. At a coaches meeting at the end of the season, several of the coaches came up to me and told me that they were really astonished at how much we had improved over the previous years. They were really proud of us and thought that some of them were actually scared that next year we were going to beat them twice as opposed to once or no times that we had in the past. I really believe that this is a tribute to how hard the team has worked and how much they all really wanted to win. I'm really going to miss working with the 6 seniors who are graduating. I wish they could all come back for one more season. Kelly, Shannon, Kristen, Meg, Marissa, and Callie, you are all very special to me in your own ways, and I will miss each of you. You are all bright and motivated young women who will not only be missed on the court, but in the classroom and the halls next year as well. I wish you all the best of luck in all that you do, and hope that you will all keep in touch. Now, while I was writing that, I started to get choked up, so let me just move on to the awards before I get more choked up again. All right, for the most improved player, I have chosen a senior who I have watched mature in her volleyball skills over the last few years. She asked questions when she wasn't sure of what to do. She played in leagues outside of our season, and she made me believe that she truly wanted to be a better player. For the 2008 season, Megan LaRue is our most active.
Good job, Megan.
For the most valuable player award, I had a very hard time choosing. There was so much talent on the team this year, and every player was valuable in their own way, and I wanted to give this award to several people. In my mind, it came down to dedication to the sport and to the team, as well as being able to motivate herself and others around her, which again was more than one person. We all know the person I came to choose can be a little over the top with her speeches, but I believe deep down in her heart she would do anything for anyone on the team, especially if it meant we were going to win more games. This year's Most Valuable Player Award goes to Shannon Doyle.
Good job, Shannon.
Next up, presenting for football is Coach Rob McCoy.
As you know, we had an incredibly successful football season, and we have 2 banners for our football team, so I thought we would present them to Coach McCoy at the beginning of his presentation. The first banner is for the Tri-Valley League Championship, and the second banner is for our appearance as the Eastern Mass Division III Super Bowl finalists.
Thank you, Terry. kind of difficult to summarize such an amazing season in 2 to 3 minutes, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that. I think that these banners say enough. It says a tremendous amount about the group of kids that we had on this team. Says a tremendous amount about their work ethic, about their character, about their heart. A little different in football. In order to qualify for the postseason, you need to be a league champion. And we were one of those 4 league champions in Division III this year. And we go on to a playoff game. We were fortunate to win that. And then we had the unbelievable experience of playing at Gillette Stadium, which is just something that can't be described in words. You guys can see some of the pictures up there. And it's an experience of a lifetime, and it's something that I am so proud to be a part of, and so proud of the 12 seniors that we had on this team. You know, thinking about the JFK award that was already given out, that could have really gone to any one of our seniors. But certainly our recipient tonight, Brian Desmond, is just a fantastic kid, and you know, just a great representation of what our program's all about. Our most improved player this year goes to a junior who probably should have started when he was a sophomore, but probably was still a year away as well. But played for us and just had an unbelievable year. And the success that we had, obviously, I think everybody knows a kid by the name of Sean Ryan in this room. But without this other kid, I'm not sure if we would have been as successful as we were. He completed 78 passes, or 57% of them, for 1,280 yards, which is a school record, and he threw 12 touchdown passes as well. He was named to the Taunton Gazette All-Scholastic team, and in addition, he will be a captain for our team next year. Our most improved player this year is junior quarterback Brendan St. Germain. And our MVP, again, I've mentioned his name before, so I'm just going to read some stuff to you right now. It might take me 2 or 3 minutes to read this. He carried the ball this year 242 times for an amazing 2,062 yards, which is a school record, averaging 8.5 yards a carry. Hold on a second, it gets more impressive. He had 14 receptions for 254 yards, returned 13 balls for 251 yards, giving him 2,568 all-purpose yards. He scored an amazing 36 total touchdowns to give him 218 points, which led Division III by more than 40 points, and actually ended up putting him second in the entire state. He was named our Thanksgiving Day MVP. He was a 3-time Boston Herald Player of the Week, a 3-time World Player of the Week. He was named by ESPN Rise the Magazine Regional Player of the Week after his second 300-yard game in as many weeks against Millis. He's been twice named a TVL All-Star, twice a Taunton Gazette All-Scholastic. He was a Sun Chronicle All-Star, a Boston Herald All-Scholastic, a Boston Globe All-Scholastic, a World Division III All-Star, the school's first ever Tri-Valley League Most Valuable Player, the school's first ever Boston Globe Division III Player of the Year, the school's first ever member of the High School Football Coaches Association Super 26 All-State Team, and also the school's third ever Shriners Classic All-Star, which will be played later this June. Our MVP this year, Sean Ryan.
Damn, he gets everything. 2,000.
Before I introduce our next coach, I'd just like to quickly name our captains next year as well. Brendan St. Germain will be a captain, in addition to senior Stephen Gilmore, Ryan Fleming, and Adam Doucette. Congratulations. I'd now like to introduce our golf coach, Mr. Ryan Riley.
Opportunity to coach the girls this season. Also Coach Sorcy, who did a phenomenal job with the JV team this year. Seniors, Virginia Roussel, Casey Remick, Laura Johansmeyer, Valentine Mello, Brianna Freeman, Chelsea Kuko, Megan Bramwell, and Sam Brown. I'd like to thank them for their 4 years of commitment. And to the captains, Valentine Mello and Stephanie Powers for their leadership for the season. This fall we had a young varsity team, and we were starting off with 5 freshmen in the game. One of whom is Megan Elliott, who was the second leading scorer in the Tri-Valley League and the Tri-Valley League All-Star. The team posted its best record since joining the Tri-Valley League, and we look forward to improving upon this next fall. For a most improved player, this is a young lady who worked her way up from the JV team to a starting position on varsity at midfield. And she brings enthusiasm and hustle to every game. A great kid and a great player. The most improved player is Brianna Valeri.
Good job, Brianna.
The MVP was a tough call. We have a lot of outstanding athletes on the team. But there was one who epitomizes everything we look for in a player. She replaced a graduating all-star sweeper, Jen Brown, who graduated last year. She plays one of the most unforgiving positions in soccer with confidence, intensity, and she has a tremendous work ethic and attitude. She played every minute of every game and was a key factor in many of our wins this season. The MVP is Jillian Rogers. Next is Mr. Green.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keeper. It's been a great year for Norton sports. I just want to quickly congratulate all the teams a lot of success this year, and the teams who are going to be playing in the playoffs over the next couple of weeks. Good luck to all of you. Success can be defined in many different ways, I believe. The obvious way is the championships that teams bring in, the banners, the trophies, and all of the accolades at the end of the year. But also, I think success can be defined by doing much better than you're supposed to do, and what everyone else thinks you're going to do. And that's kind of the story of our year this year. In a lot of ways, I feel as though this year was a lot more important than last year. Last year, we had a lot of experience, a lot of seniors, and truthfully, we were supposed to do as well as we did last year. This year was a completely different story. We lost 11 players, a lot of those impact players, and we pretty much had to rebuild a whole new team. But we ended up finishing 4th in the league, and we ended up getting back into the playoffs. We're not a team quite yet that making the playoffs is a given, so for right now, that's still a pretty good accomplishment for us, and that's still a goal. Hopefully, very shortly, we no longer have to make making the playoffs a goal. Hopefully, we can bring the program to just expecting to make the playoffs every year. But a big highlight that we had this year, we did make the playoffs, won a couple of games, and then we had to face the undefeated #1 ranked Harwich team. And we ended up beating them, obviously giving them their first loss. And then we got absolutely smoked in the next game. But I forgot that game. We beat the undefeated #1 ranked Harwich team, which is a great accomplishment. But if I told anyone that we were making the sectional quarterfinals this year, I don't think anyone, including myself and any of the players, would have believed that. So that is a tremendous accomplishment for this team. A couple of awards that we got: Sun Chronicle All-Stars went to Mike Kelly, Ken Campbell, and Pat Noman. Taunton-Gazette went to the same 3, in addition with Keegan Campbell, Mike Kelly, Cam Campbell, both got PL All-Stars, and Mike Kelly got Eastern Mass All-Star. Most improved player this year went to our goalie. Pretty obvious selection for most of the team. He had a 1.07 goal against average. This is the first time he was a consistent starter on the team. So only allowing in about 1 goal a game puts us in a position to have a lot of success. He also records 7 shutouts. Most improved player is Pat Hillman.
Good job, Pat. Norton.
MVP also sounds a bit obvious when you list all of the All-Stars. He became the name that was kind of synonymous with Norton boys soccer. He's the name that you would see down the halls. This year's MVP is Mike Kelly. And I just want to note the JFK Award to Cam Campbell was very fitting for him. He became the face of Norton soccer, and I mean that figuratively and literally. If I'm correct, he's the only player in high school history that actually got a proposal during a playoff game. He did have to break that girl's heart and decline, but he is very fitting for that award. And I just want to wish my 5 seniors good luck next year. You guys are definitely a huge reason why we had the success that we had this year. Nick Salvo, Devin Askew, Pat Hillman, Mike Kelly, and Candy Campbell. Best of luck to all of you next year. I'd like to invite up cross-country coach, Mr. Taylor.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Lombard and I'm the assistant coach for the football season in cheerleading, and I'm here to recognize the cheerleaders for their overwhelming passion and dedication that they have for their team. Unfortunately, Nicole Ledbetter, who is the head coach, cannot be here tonight because she had moved to Virginia. But she would like me to send her sincere thanks and appreciation to all the girls this past football season.
She moved to
And not
Washington,
only to the
D.C.
girls, but to the
area.
staff also, you guys
She
have been
left
a real big help to us, and we really appreciated that. All the girls worked hard individually and also as a team to overcome many obstacles during the football season. For varsity, I'd like to recognize my captain. Not only is she a great cheerleader, but she's also a great leader. I would also like to recognize her as our most valuable player because she always dedicated 110% to the team and worked hard not only to better herself, but for the rest of her teammates as well. Ashley Parada.
Ended up leaving the Boston area,
Alright, and the most improved for football season goes to a girl who worked incredibly hard all season. She has always had a great attitude and consistently applied herself to every task at hand. And she pushed herself above her limits and always had a smile on her face while doing it. Shannon Capabianco. Finally, I'd like to say how much I enjoyed coaching all the girls, both teams, junior varsity and varsity. You really made me and Nicole proud, so I want to thank you guys so much. And for the winter track, girls winter track, Kelsey Flynn.
To echo what a lot of the other coaches have already said, but Dr. Ansay, Mr. Dewar, Mr. Barth, here. Ms. Pillsbury, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us tonight. It's really an honor to coach here and to teach here, so thank you. Also, I'd like to thank Meg Oakley and Nicole DeSorcy for doing such a great job as assistant coaches this year with the girls, so thank you very much. It's really nice to go through a season with coaches that you get along with every day and you enjoy working with on a daily basis. So Meg and Nicole, thanks again. Also the parents, thanks for coming out and supporting us every night in the stands, win or lose. And finally to the players, thanks for hanging in there and working hard every day of the season. I found it really difficult walking off that field, Gillette Stadium, with Coach McCoy. It was such a long and grueling and rewarding season, and it was such a heartbreaking loss. And I thought, oh my God, I got to start girls basketball in a day and a half.
That's right, by almost
So
2 TDs.
it was difficult, but the girls got me into it really quick, and I thank you again for that.
A lot of mistakes.
I will say this: the overall record was disappointing. But as a coach, you do need to look at the positives, and positives for this year as opposed to the year before. We averaged more points this year. We gave up less points this year. We had more assists. We had less turnovers. We had more steals. We had more three-pointers thanks to 2 special players. We just were overall more competitive, and I think we're moving in the right direction. We lost 10 games by 10 points or less, and I know that's not something you want to be happy about, but in the TVL for girls basketball, it is a very competitive league, and you can just look on the tournament website and you're going to see a lot of them. But it's very encouraging for this group because 17 out of the 18 players will be returning. And on the varsity team, it was 2 freshmen, 6 sophomores, 1 junior, and 1 senior. So, now for the awards. First of all, for the JFK that was already announced, Audrey Schlehuber was doing a great job for us offensively and defensively as a sophomore guard, and went through a tough time midway through the season where she was ill, and it just wasn't the same without her, on the bench, at practice, whatever it might be, and we were really worried about that. But when she returned at Westwood, I'll never forget it because I was like, oh my gosh, Audrey, you shouldn't be here. She just didn't look good. And I mean that in a good way, like you should be home resting. But that's why she gets this award, because she wanted to be there. That's her team, she wanted to win, and she wouldn't miss it for anything. And when she got a chance to come back and play, she did a great job, and I'm looking forward to big things from her. The most improved player goes to a freshman guard at the beginning of the year during the scrimmages. I think she was a little nervous and a little unsure of herself. And, the first game came along and I said to Nicole, let's put her in. I think she's a little nervous, so she gets in, and 3 seconds later, her first 3 was launched. And it went in, and I said, all right, she's going to be fine. But she ended up 3rd in scoring on our team. She averaged 9 points a game. She was 2nd in three-point field goals, 1st in assists, 1st in steals. And in the last 10 games, I think she might have sat out maybe 3 minutes a game. I look for really big things from this player, and the most improved player goes to freshman guard Meg Brown. Finally, the MVP. This individual is one of the more feared, if not the most feared, shooters in the TVL for girls basketball. She's a 2-year starter. She's only a sophomore. She set a new TVL record with 9 three-pointers in a girls basketball game early this season against Bellingham. She also led the league in three-pointers made during the year. She ended up leading our team in scoring. She led in three-point field goals. She led in free throw percentage. She was a second-team TVL All-Star, and she still has 2 years to go. And more importantly, coaches aren't counted here. I think maybe there's only one person in the entire school that can contend shooting with her, and that's maybe Doug. I don't know. But the 2008-2009 girls basketball MVP, Kayla Bissett. Now we have Coach Liv.
Well, it's male counterparts.
I'd like to thank a couple of people before we mention some things about our season and bring up our award winners. First, Terry Pillsbury for her support this year, and also my coaching staff, Coach Nagel, who's here tonight, and Coach Valenti as well, my two assistants who do a fabulous job. Secondly, to our seniors, Nick Salvo, Ricky Travers, Doug Schlager, and Darren Doucette, we were able to achieve a lot of historical milestones this year, and it was because of their leadership. Some of those milestones included 18 regular season wins, the first Norton boys and girls basketball team to do that in 17 years, since 1992. An 11-0 road record, the first Norton boys and girls basketball team to do that in 20 years, since 1988 and 1989. 12 straight TBL wins. No boys varsity team since we've returned to the TBL has been able to do that, and we're very excited about carrying that streak over into next year. Probably our most successful milestone, though, for all of us, was the night of February 6th, Friday night, where we went into Medfield High School, and they had won 35 straight TBL games. They had also won 23 straight home games. They had not lost a home game in 3 years until February 6th. All of those accomplishments, again, were from an outstanding leadership of this senior class, and I thank them once again. I'd like to call up our JFK award winner one more time. You know, his sister is a sophomore, and she's going home with 2 awards tonight, so I just so happen to have an extra plaque for him. And he's a senior, he's graduating next Friday. He can't let his little sister go home with more awards than him. I got a little choked up at our banquet that we had in March talking about him. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed being at practice with somebody as much as I did with him for 4 years. He's a better person than he is a basketball player. And his respect for the game transcends his teammates and coaches. I'll really miss him next year as a player, but as a person, more importantly. Doug Schlager, would you come up again? Our most improved player was really a no-brainer. He elevated his game tremendously this year. As a junior, he kind of swung between the junior varsity and varsity team, but he averaged 9 points and 9 rebounds a game. He's the best 5'10" rebounder I've ever coached, if he's 5'10". He's a great weak side defender for us. One of his plays was probably our most important play, one of the most important plays we had all year. He made a huge steal in double overtime against Medway. Late in the ball, got fouled, hit the foul shot. We ended up winning the game by that 3 points, and it preserved our 11-0 record on the road. And what many people would consider his 3rd best sport, he was a Sun Chronicle All-Star. He's a true team leader and somebody who's just very dedicated and committed to working hard all the time, getting the most out of his ability. Our most improved player this year, Ricky Travers. This one's kind of special. I don't know if he's ready for this, but I am. No one in the history of Norton Athletics in the last 38 years since this high school is open has been a 4-time MVP for their team until tonight. Instead of giving you a laundry list of his stats, and they would rival someone who was as fabulous as Sean Ryan was this year, I think I want to tell you a short story that reflects to me why he's the only one to ever do this in 38 years. His sophomore year, we were 0-6. We were struggling as a basketball team. Over vacation, we had a game on a Wednesday night versus Pembroke High School. We shot miserably from the foul line, lost the game. The next day, we had one of those good vacation practices at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which they usually don't like too much. At 9:03, in our first set of defensive drills, I stopped the practice. And I said to him in a rather loud voice, for us to be a successful basketball team, you cannot be a good player. You have to be a great player. He looked at me like a 15-year-old would, with a look of, hey coach, I'm your leading scorer, leading rebounder, best defender, best shot blocker. I'm the best you got. But he was polite enough not to say it. The next day, on Friday, we played the same Pembroke team that night at home. I told the kids I'd be around all day. If you want to come in and shoot foul shots, work on your game, I'll be there before the game that night. He came in, he went off to the side, our assistant coach rebounded for him, he shot free throws for 2 hours. That night, he scored 25 points, he had 17 rebounds, and he went 12 for 12 from the foul line. And we won the game. Since that game, we've won 75% of the basketball games we played at this high school, and arguably we're one of the 2 most competitive programs in the Tri-Valley League. I tell you that story because I think there's a misnomer about him, that he was sort of born a great athlete, that he's got all these great athletic skills. He worked tremendously hard to be the only one in 38 years to do this. Before I bring him up here, one last note. I usually have the kids before the season starts write down on an index card their team and individual goals. I'm sure a lot of coaches do that. And you sort of get the same thing. I want to be a better defender, I want to be a better rebounder, I want to average more points, I want to help the team win, I want to make the tournament. And after a while as a coach you go, why did I have to do that? You all sound the same. Until you read this one that he wrote his junior year. In my years of coaching